This tutorial shall cover Today's tutorial shall cover the section general elements drawing for the stair type 2, the quarter turn staircase. We have drawn the stair type 1 in our previous tutorial, so I will immediately introduce you to the information provided in the architectural drawing for this quarter turn staircase. Shown here is the staircase connecting the ground floor to the first floor. If you count the number of risers from this is the first flight, this is the second flight, third flight. You count the number of risers, you will note that number of risers is 24, and we have already determined our elevation from the ground floor to the first floor. The first floor elevation is 3720. 3720. I just noticed something on the drawing. This drawing here is the first floor staircase drawing, and I noticed that this elevation is not correct. It's supposed to be 4165. So I'm going to correct it 4165. So the elevation difference is 3720 from the ground floor to the first floor slab, and there are 24 number of risers here. 3720 divided by 24 is equals to 155. So our riser height is 155. For this is the first floor drawing, second floor drawing for the staircase. The elevation difference is 3565. Difference between the elevation and this elevation, and we notice on our drawing the number of riser for the staircase, for the number of riser on our flight for the stairs connecting first floor to the second floor is 23, not 24. So if we divide 3565 divided by 23, we get 155. Also, our riser height equals to 155 for the stair connecting the first floor to the second floor. From second to the third floor, the riser height is also 155. From the third to the fourth floor, the riser height is also 155 because the number of riser between the floors are 23. So what I'm going to do on this our drawing, the drawing does not show our structural column. So I'm going to duplicate. I'll copy and paste the structural column for all the grid intersection at B1, C1, D1, D2, C2, and B2. So I'll zoom to say this part of the drawing. I will copy all the columns around the staircase region. I will copy it using say this base point. I will duplicate it at this point, and this point, and also this point, and lastly this point. So if you look at the drawing, you see the columns on the drawing. Now I want to draw the section GA for the stair for stair type 2, which is the quarter turn staircase. So for this flight, the first flight, where my cursor is on my right hand side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 risers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 risers here, and also 10 risers here. So we have 10 risers here, then we have our landing. Between this column, I'll provide a beam to support this flight. Also for this flight, the second flight with 4 risers, I'll provide a landing too at this region. I'll provide a beam at this region to support. I'll provide a beam at this region and at this region to support these two flights. For this flight, the third to support this second flight. So a beam here and a beam here. For this third flight, we know we already have a beam that supports this flight at a lower elevation. So what I'm going to do we are going to the lower beam will support the beam supporting the first floor flight will support the third. The beam supporting the first flight will support the third flight. This is what is happening here. The beam supporting the first flight is at an elevation lower than the elevation of this landing slab. So after the beam, we are going to place a block wall on the beam, and our landing of this flight is going to sit on the block wall, and the end of this flight here is going to be connected to our structural floor, structural suspended floor. You're going to understand all this my explanation when I'm drawing the section GA for the stair type. So I'm going to leverage on this drawing. I'm not going to draw um, each flight of the staircase as I did in my in stair type 1 in the previous tutorial. So I'm going to leverage on this drawing. So I'm going to select all the objects of section CC. You will notice section CC cut flight 1. We cut flight 1, and if you view it in section, you will see the first flight, you see the second flight, you see the third flight, then the first floor suspended floor. You see the 3 flights through between the first and the second. So I'm going to select all these objects here, duplicate it at a point after our section GA for the stair type 1, and I'll make serious edits to this drawing instead of replicating the drawing from scratch. You will notice at the bottom at grid C, we don't have a structural wall, we don't have a foundation wall in our architectural drawing. I'm going to provide that quickly. I'll select these 2 lines that denote our foundation wall, and I will paste at this point. I will trim this line and this line. I will position this here, copy this and duplicate it at this point and extend it to this point. To trim this small portion that is in the wall. This is my brick line. I'm going to duplicate it for the foundation wall. So I've made that edit. There is a so this line, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to also remove this line. If we check the thickness of our stair elements, I'll use the measure command. The thickness here is 150. 150 was used to draw this staircase. However, I want my thickness of the waist slab and my landing to be 200. So I'm going to delete all this. I will duplicate this, my landing line. I'll duplicate it 200 mm below. I will also draw my waistline, and I will offset it 200. Quickly use my trim command, trim and extend command. I will select this line and I will remove it. I told you that the support for your at the ground floor, you should always provide count 1, 2, 3, 4 to provide your support. So this line is going to end somewhere here. So I will connect this. So this is what we have here. Remember, we are using a 230 by 450 beam. So 450 deep, 230 250. So what I'll do, I'm going to extend this one down. So this is the support for this flight. For this flight, the thickness of this waist slab is 150. So I'm going to delete it and put a 200 waistline. I'm going to delete all these too. So I'll copy this, copy 200 mm down. Draw my waistline for this. I'm going to use the offset command, draw it at 200, use my trim command. I've trimmed it. This is my line here. I'm going to drop it down 200 to denote the thickness of my landing. I'm going to use the trim command here too for this region. So I've gotten it. Delete this. So yeah, I told you that I'm not providing I'm not going to provide say somewhere here. I'm not going to sorry. Let me undo. I press Ctrl Z some number of times to undo some step. Let me so yeah, okay. I'm going to draw move this endpoint to this point and move this endpoint to this point. So yeah, I told you that I'm not providing a beam here. Instead, I'm going to place a wall here to support the third flight. So I'm going to apply a wall hash pattern there to denote the wall. Very important to denote it so anybody looking at drawing will know how the beam is supported. I'm going to use this hash pattern. One, two, dense, 20. So I see the wall hash there. Okay. Oh, I just noticed something that this line is my bottom of my landing. So it means that this hash pattern is supposed to be lowered. Move this line downward. So for this for the second flight, I'm going to provide a for the second flight, I'm going to provide a beam between C and D at the bottom, a 230 by 450 beam at the bottom to support the second flight. This is the second flight where my cursor is hovering on. I'm going to denote that by drawing a rectangle from this point. Let's draw it. So this is a 230 by 450, but remember we have a column along this green line that support that support this beam. I'm going to extend this out by 115. So this rectangular line is denoting the beam that will support the second flight. I'm going to note that I'm going to denote the line with a blue color. Going to property, change the color to blue. The same thing, I'm going to provide this type of beam at this level. At so this beam at the bottom is at let me show you. This beam at the bottom is between the line 2D to C. The beam at the top is between the line 1D to C. So supporting the second flight. So this is what we have here. I've denoted all this now. See, these are 200 already. I will delete this line because this is a general element drawing that does not consist of the architectural wall. And I will place my 230 by 600 beam at this grid intersection. I'm in the rectangular command. I'm going to draw the 230 by 600 beam now. This is 3 by 600 beam. I'm going to copy it, duplicate it, and position at this point. Also at this point. So I'm going to activate going to activate my trim or extend command on the ribbon, and I'm going to trim all this line. So you see the beam supporting the full landing slab here. I'm going to do the same thing. This line is the thickness 150, but I want to be 200. I'm going to delete the waistline and the bottom of the landing line here. I'll delete it. Connect the first riser to the last riser. Select it. Use the offset command. 200 at 200. Duplicate this line, top of the slab. 200. Once you have done that, you use the trim extend command again to trim your drawing. You do the same thing here too. I'm going to delete this line because not necessary again. This line, the bottom of this slab and this line has to intersect. So I'm going to do that now. Use it, activate the trim extend command again. So this is how it's supposed to be. So I've done that. I'm going to delete all these objects because not necessary. Delete, delete, select and delete. Here I'm going to put, there's going to be a beam here, a 230 by 450 beam. So here I will extend this line downward. It's already 200, so I'll add 250 to it to make it 450. So the width is 230 upward. This hash pattern, I'm going to duplicate it for the for this region, but I will reduce it. This is what we have here. I will have 1, 2, 3 risers here. We also provide this a beam supporting the second flight and this flight here. Copy. So we have that beam there. Same we provided at this point. So you should note that. So what I'm going to do now from this point, okay. The thickness here is I'm going to draw this line downward by 200 to denote the thickness of my slab. This line is, I'll delete it because it's not accurate. Connect the last riser to the last riser here too, and I'll offset it by 200. I'm going to use the trim extend command to connect the flight to the landing. So I've done that. Delete this. This line, I'll delete it. Delete all this. I'll draw this line downward. 200 thickness of the full landing slab. Use a command to connect my drawing. So this is what we have here. And we also have a 230 by 600 beam at this grid and a 230 by 600 beam at this grid. So I'm going to draw the beam now. 230 by 600. Copy, position. Delete this. So I'll use my trim command again to make edits for the beam. This is how it's going to look like. So for the other drawing, what I'm going to do, I've drawn the stairs for connecting the first to the second floor. I'm going to duplicate it. So what I'm going to do, all this, I'm going to delete most of the lines from here. Okay. Um, I'm going to delete all this. I think I've done that now. Move this. Now I'm going to move all what I do for the stair elements between the first and the between the first and the second floor. Staircase drawing is a lot of work. I don't actually like it myself. So I will duplicate it. The floor, oh, I'll duplicate it. Yeah. Okay, I've done that now. Remove this. I'll do the same thing for the floor, for third to fourth floor, because that's the same stair. They have the same stair arrangement. So I'll duplicate it up again. Remember, we need to connect this waistline to the landing. I'm going to stretch this out. Okay, it's okay like that. Just stretch it out to the waistline. Yeah. All this, they are no more needed. Don't need all this. I don't need all this. This one, I will reduce the length. Maybe like I'll leave it there. I don't all this. I will drop this down a bit. So now this is my section GA for stair type 2, the quarter turn staircase. You understand this better when I'm modeling the structure on Orion 18 software. So I will just, the last thing I'm going to do, I will edit this to section GA for stair type 2. So select the text, I'll centralize it. So this 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 will be the last element design I will draw on AutoCAD. In our next session, we are going to move to Orion 18 software. We are going to open the Orion 18 software. We are going to see how to create a new project on Orion 18 software. Thank you for watching this video.